Hi guys, so for this week we're doing a tribute and I decided to do my father. I know it sounds kind of cheesy, but I mean, I love my dad and he's my best friend, so I thought I'd give him a tribute speech. My dad is 53 years old, but he's in better shape than me, and I'm 21 and I play college sport. He has three daughters, including me, so I'm the youngest out of three girls, which is kind of good, but also kind of bad. Him and my mom have been married for 29 years, which is crazy. They've known each other since they were in seventh grade, which is a long time ago for them. My little sister was with my dad when I was growing up. She was always with my dad. She played sports, and my dad really enjoyed playing sports and watching sports, so he wanted to get involved. So my little sister Kyle played softball, and my dad was always with her. So I don't really have a lot of memories of me and my dad together a lot. It was usually, if it was usually centered around softball. Because, being the youngest, you always have to get dragged around to older siblings' games or sporting events So that was always me. But once I got older and I learned how to play softball and I enjoyed it, I understood why my sister Kyle enjoyed it a lot, because it was a good game, but then you got to be with your dad the whole time because he was your coach, which I think almost everybody's dad coached them in something. So I learned that the more I play softball, the more I'd be with my dad. And I think I stuck with that, even though it was hard to have, my dad as my coach most of the time. I still loved it because I got to know him and understand him, and then realize we have a lot in common. I don't look like my dad. I look like my mom, but I act like my dad. And I think my dad would agree with that and say I'm probably more stubborn than him, but he's not here. But my dad grew up with four older brothers and three younger sisters. So he's the youngest boy, and that's tough. And he made a life out of being a race car driver and doing drywall construction. My dad has a lot of ups and downs in his life. He didn't graduate high school. He got a GED. He didn't go to college. He went straight to work. He basically started with nothing, living with his dad, my grandpa, for a while, and living with one of his brothers for a while. One of his first jobs was, selling sodas to corporations and businesses in a vending machine. And it was so bad at one point that he told me that he used to break the sodas and dent them so he could take them home because you couldn't put those in the machine. That's how bad it was. And so my dad said he just kept working and working, and he ended up, getting a good job at a construction place in Arizona that does drywall and builds houses. And then, 10 years later, he's a co-owner of it and partner of it, and now he has another business of his own. So, years and years of working and slaving away proved to be helpful to him. Somebody, who was very average in high school, C's, didn't graduate, had to get his GED, didn't go to college, didn't really get proper training about his jobs. He just learned as he went, and then he made a living for himself. And then in Arizona, housing is really big, but once the recession hit, it went downhill. That was one of the first things that went downhill. So, he kind of built himself up on a mountain, and then he had a landslide happen, and it took him all the way down to the bottom again. And by that time, the recession hit. He had three kids. He was living a good life with a nice house. Money was good, and then it just all went away. So we had to move. We had to start over. And, my dad was depressed. He felt like he let everybody down, and he wanted to prove to everybody that he did it again. So he went back to doing what he did, 20 years ago, being on the job and working and helping his guys and, getting back into, the dirty work. And then it proved, because the business stayed around even throughout the recession, when there was, there used to be like 200 houses built in a month, and then went down to like 20 to 10 to even 5 houses built in a month. And now, the recession went away and the economy's getting better. So he's one of the few businesses that stayed around, and all the contractors trust him because he lasted through that tough economy time. My dad's really good because he has three girls. I feel bad for him because, I bet he wanted a boy because he made us all the tomboys growing up. We all played sports. We all had boy haircuts, believe it or not. And he basically raised us to be very athletic and very independent. And, it's kind of hard doing that being a girl because then people just think you're bossy. But my dad, growing up, was with me during softball since I was 12 to even now in college. I think in my 3 years of playing college ball, he's only missed 2 or 3 games. And that's saying something because in a regular season, I'll have 60 something games. But in the off season during college, you play like 4 to 20 games. So with all that combined, he's only missed 2 to 3 games out of 3 years. That's dedication. That's showing your child that I support you, and I really admire that because to see your parents there, to see someone you love in the stands cheering for you, even if you're doing bad, that really helps you and motivates you. And I want to be like that. I want to be a parent like my dad and be there for my kids one day and show them, that you have to work hard and it just isn't given to you, but you have to work hard for it like he did. My dad's favorite saying is, bleed later, finish the play. That's comes from sports. And I didn't think I understood it when I was younger. I thought he was just crazy yelling at me. But now I understand it more because, when you get older, life starts to hit you. And, you get ups and downs. And now I understand that, life might get you bleeding, but you can keep going forward. You can keep moving. It'll heal. The wound will heal. And you'll be fine. But you just have to keep moving forward. If you sit and think about how you're hurting and how it's, I'm bleeding and I can't stop it. No, you need to worry about moving forward and finishing it. You need to move forward and not let that hold you back, which I really admire. And I think that's one thing I'll always remember. I'll always remember my dad just keep moving forward, even if there was no hope. He just kept moving forward. And I think that's what biggest thing this tribute speech is about. My dad just being there and keep moving forward and being a person that I want to be someday. I want to be a parent like him, and it'll be amazing to see if I can do it. But maybe I'll show them this video, maybe not. I'll decide later. But thanks for listening, guys.